And okay, we are live now. So, good afternoon, good morning, good everything around the world. We are here today to comment, to see and comment the launch of Starship. That the launch window should begin in half an hour, more or less. We have with us Serena Crotti. She is the coordinator of Euromoon Mars and Eurospace Hub. We have Bernard Foing. Professor Bernard Foing is the president of Space X International and also the chair of the entities that I mentioned right now. And together with Bernard, I see several other persons that maybe they want
to introduce.
Bernard, please introduce your guests.
Excellent. So these are, of course, the next generation of space renaissance, but also they are part of this Euromoon Mars initiative and also the Eurospace Hub Academy. So we have with me as a Capcom, that's Ava Hutchinson. She is taking care of the communication with Space Renaissance. We have also two analog astronauts from Dublin that are doing their internship with us. So we have Sean Moloney and we have Daniel Osayanu. And so they are instrument physicists, and they have already had the experience of living on the moon for 1 week. Oh, no, 2 weeks, actually, you stayed. And Ava stayed 1 week in the moon base without window and isolated from here. That's our program, Euromoon Mars Poland. And that's also a program that Serena Crotti, who is our space architect from Bergamo initially, also she has done this MPOL program, but as well, she has lived in a cave with other analog astronauts, and she came to Hawaii in our International Moon Base Alliance ICES habitat in the beginning of March. So you see a number of young professionals very interested by what is happening today, the launch of Starship, so the largest rocket ever, most powerful, but which has the vocation to bring a lot of cargoes and safely humans to the moon and beyond. And so that's very important for us, for all our community. We believe that also with this launch capacity, we can also look what we can bring to space or we can bring to the moon and Mars in terms of full infrastructures, so habitat, astronaut, and we think that this will be critical for civilian development. And that's really the theme of Space Renaissance International. It will bring not only opportunities for scientists, for engineers, for space agencies, but also for industries, for academia, also a platform for peace, a platform also for inspiring the public and the next generation. And that's why I think it's quite nice. They are joining our panel today. They are currently in our Linux headquarters, working also on an event we are preparing for tomorrow. We'll have a great event about space, art, and science with Dirk Friemuth, the first Belgian astronaut. And so we are preparing an event there, but we'll have also an event in Ibiza, a European Space Hub Forum. So that's these are my colleagues. So maybe let's introduce yourself again. So,
my name is Ava Hutchison. It's a pleasure to be here.
Daniel Ciano. And I'm Sean Maloney.
Okay, great. So thank you very much, Bernard, and the young people are with you. And of course, I am Adriano Autino. I'm the founder of Space Renaissance and currently vice president. I was the president until when Bernard was elected in 2021. And I just want to say that we initiated a big campaign, what we can do, but we are getting allied organizations. Therefore, it could really become a great campaign about an 18 SDG, a proposal to UN to add an 18 SDG to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. Our proposed title is Space for All, civilian space development and life beyond Earth. So I heard this morning in the national radio on the RAI in Italy, they were discussing about the launch of today of Space X Starship. They were, they interview Simonetta Di Pippo, who is the former president coordinator of the COPUOS, the Committee for the Peaceful Use of Space.
He was the director of the United Nations Out of Space Affairs Office.
Yes, exactly.
No,
and she replied, she gave a good reply to an objection from some messages that reached the broadcaster, the radio broadcaster, complaining about the cost of Starship and of this kind of means and transport systems, while a lot of people is starving on Earth, and there is people that, and this will be only for rich. And okay, we know about this kind of objection. And Simonetta Di Pippo replied that not only the rich countries are now aiming to space, but the countries that recently asked to join the space community are Nigeria and Rwanda. So two states, two countries that has huge problems of starving and underdevelopment and so on. Therefore, these countries understood the importance of space development for their country, for agriculture, for the waters, for a lot of things. And I think this is an important.
Yeah, that's important. But of course, it's important also to remind we are T-minus 18 minutes. So the news of the day is really the launch of Starship. And clearly, we have to work to be very inclusive to this very important event. And we are going to work, the whole year on this Sustainable Development Goal, Space for All, Civilian Development. Now, let's see, okay, what are the news and how important is that for us and for the different population in all diversity?
Yes, exactly. This is very important because to have a fully reusable launch vehicle, we lower the cost, because we know that reusability since 2015 lowered the cost of every space missions. And to have a fully reusable launch vehicle will lower the cost further. And that will allow the second important thing about space development, to start developing outside Earth. That is a goal, because of course 8 billion people on Earth cannot make it anymore to only develop on Earth. We have to start expanding. And this will be possible thanks to SpaceX and Elon Musk, because he is the first one who experimented and now using. Now SpaceX has 60% of the world market for launchers, because he invented the reusable rockets. So okay, so we are very, very fan of SpaceX, and we hope that this launch will be successful, even if it will be the first one. For it is possible that it will not be successful. However, Elon Musk said that even if Starship will succeed going out of the launch pad before exploding, that will be a success, because it will allow the engineers to understand a lot of things, to detect errors, to correct errors, and all the things that we know are the daily bread of any space mission. So
indeed, so let's start with the question. So what are the technical risks? So, we are here from the Lunex TV studio, and we have a number of screens where we are spying on what is happening. So the countdown timeline started already 8 hours ago. They closed the road. They had also some loading of methane from the rocket and also liquid oxygen. They started 1 hour ago. And now they are chilling the booster of the Raptor engine. And so they have a series of activities they are preparing.
For 2020, SNA demonstrated.
Sorry.
And at some stage, I think it would be good that we join in on some of the key events, possibly when they have finished the loading of the propulsion complete. This is 5 minutes before the launch. I think we should then eventually take a pause and go directly on the Space X TV launch. In the meantime, we could, so we have some images.
Yes, the timing said -15. So it is possible that they will launch exactly at 3 o'clock our time. 3,
yes,
no,
so,
half past 3. Yeah.
Yes, so we have a different timeline on our direct access to SpaceX. So let's see, but we will follow that 15:24, and we are 14:20. Yeah. So great. So we are here with some physicists and engineers. Okay, so this is what can go wrong on the landing back. These are some of the tests that we have performed. But it's true indeed, as Elon Musk mentioned, there are million. No, you want to keep it.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh,
They are showing the history of the previous launches, SN9, and so on.
You can put it on their stream as well.
Yes, but it was this one. This
is
one is more recent.
This is on SpaceX, the channel.
Yeah.
This is on NASA.
Yeah, the SpaceX is good. Yeah.
So
Excellent. We have we have a crew of operators following information from different channels. We follow some NASA channels, but they are 1 minute late compared to SpaceX. And then we have a direct SpaceX channel that shows also all the difficulties of developing this rocket. So yeah, so indeed, okay, the all issues of launch is very important. That's a critical aspect of all the operation. As you know, even so on Monday, they had to stop the countdown because there was some pressurization issues with the first stage. And so they didn't take the risk to launch, but at least even when they had diagnosed this problem, they continue the countdown as long as possible so that they would check that all the command and protocol were doing were operational. And in particular, they monitor the old sequence until T-10 seconds. Yeah. So so that's the launch is really critical indeed. And then of course after there is a phase of separation of the module from the first stage, and there is the orbital phase, which is not too critical in general. And then there is the whole phase of re-entry in the atmosphere, and also the possible recovery with the recovery of the module. So, but clearly today, the most critical is to see that all the ascent is going well. And of course, we wouldn't want to have a rocket exploding on the launching pad, because then that destroys the whole infrastructure and would delay the whole program. So, what do you feel at this moment, Eva?
Well, I think this is very exciting. My background is in political science and international outer space law. So the comments that Adriano provided earlier, I thought were really interesting about lowering the barriers of entry, the sort of price of entry for new states trying to build their first space agencies, or states looking to diversify, or their private industry looking to diversify now into space affairs. What lowering the cost of entry and the implications of that, I think, is really interesting. But again, we have to see how this how this flight goes. I am curious if you know, either you, Adriano, or Bernard, if you know about the timeline for re-entry after, I don't know, is that supposed to take place relatively soon after the test, or is it going, how long is it going to linger sort of in lower Earth orbit? Do you guys have any information on that?
Yeah, so the original plan is to have enough Earth orbit, and the re-entry would be off the coast of Hawaii.
Okay.
And so from our moon base there, we could see it. And so it's like half an orbit, and this would already demonstrate many of the critical phases.
Yeah, it's not a complete orbit.
Yes,
So
half an orbit.
I guess it will be less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Maybe 1 hour, maybe. I don't know.
Well, to do half an orbit, it takes 45 minutes. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the perspective from we have been shown also, okay, maybe from a physicist developing instrument, and he has developed also now a system for our moon habitat that we have just building in Bergamo together with Serena. So they just came back for this.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting how SpaceX is, they're starting to get over the hurdles of, before spaceflight was just a single-use thing, but now we have spaceships that can be reused over and over, So it's pretty interesting to see how they got over problems like weight management, fuel management, and even landing the spacecraft without it, being destroyed. So I hope this brings spaceflight back into popularity, and more and more we'll see people getting invested into spaceflight. And I think it's just a great stretch for spaceflight. Like, hopefully this will just make it more commercial and more economically viable.
I would also add that I think this has major implications for space debris. How reusable flight materials like this can aid in sort of trying to mitigate the massive loss of material that we have in space that is just exponentially growing and making introducing new space objects more and more difficult. So yeah, I agree with Sean.
So are you ready? Are you interested to fly on the future Starship, Daniel?
Me, well, my background is in medical physics, so I think I'm more focused on actually getting people up to space safely, while space law, focus on the logistics and the efficacy. I'll focus more on the health of the crew and the passengers aboard those ships.
Excellent. So we watched from many places from Earth. So you can see some scene of some of our colleagues that are in Boca Chica. So that's a place at the very southern part of Texas, close to the border with Mexico. And it has been developed, and actually SpaceX has developed the whole infrastructure, but also has brought many jobs there. There are also some issues of protecting the environment, and so they have been very responsible in doing that. And that's in America. And of course, we have also joining us from South America. We have also some very interested public. We have Julio Resende from Brazil.
Hello, Bernard, Adriano, Serena. I am in a novel mission in Brazilian semi-arid, and I just arrived from our extravehicular activity. We are with Mexican participants, Laura and Vanessa from students there, and we are very happy to be organizing a knowledge mission during this historical moment, and be together here with a Space Renaissance Initiative group. I'm very happy to take part of this moment, Bernard.
Very welcome. Welcome, Julio and your friends from Brazil.
Yeah, I'd like to say that we built a second infrastructure. It's in a cave. It's called the Lava Cave. And it was the first crew and the first mission that we slept there in this cave. We improved some infrastructure. We have a bathroom, and it's a very interesting place. It was the first night that we slept there. And everybody are welcome watching this stream today. Thanks.
Excellent. Fantastic. So I want just to recall what Ava said before about space debris. So having a reusable launch vehicle is very important for this issue of the space debris. Not only because having more reusable vehicles, we will have less parts in orbit, but also because developing fully reusable vehicle will allow to start working in orbit to make, because of the low cost, will make it possible to build workshops in orbit, so we can recover the wreckages and the debris and start reusing them for building the space infrastructures. So it will be a double thing about the reusable vehicles for space debris. One is for avoiding new debris, and the other one is start working to recover the orbit, to claim the debris and reuse them. So I think it's, but fully reusable launch vehicles is very important for many things that are going on. So yeah.
I think we've hit the 5-minute mark, or we're about to. So didn't
Yes.
our timeline?
Yeah.
They've started something, cooling something.
Yes.
I think.
So the complete propulsion load should be done now, and so now we have other operations. So it may, yes, it's good that. Yes, you can see all the public rejoicing. Last time we drank before, 1 hour before, just because we were watching the juice launch.
Helps improve the future growth of Starship. If we lift off and clear the pad, we're calling that a win.
A great shot of the pad there. A great shot of the quick disconnect on the second stage. You can see the frost line on the booster where that methane is fully topped up. I think we're just coming up on the last few minutes here of propellant fill on the booster. And that quick disconnect is going to separate away as we actually get into the ignition sequence. But it's providing electrical connections now, and also providing the propellants that we're loading into the vehicle.
Yeah. We're just now under 4 minutes until liftoff of the Starship flight test. We've been following along for what honestly seems like days and days now, but really it kind of comes down to years. It has been a long time to get to where we are today. Now, fast forwarding a little bit, we have the opportunity to hold, if necessary, at 40 seconds. And we are able to hold there for about 15 minutes or up to 15 minutes and still be able to lift off.
Yeah, and that's a little bit different from Falcon for the propellant sequence on Falcon that we don't have the opportunity to hold. So that's a cool new capability on Starship.
Right now, T-minus 3 minutes, 10 seconds and counting. We've got some great views from the drone. It's nice that the fog is slowly lifting. We get some of the blue skies, hopefully good views. What we're waiting for right now is closeout of propellant loading on the first stage. That should be wrapping up here shortly. In fact, it looks like fuel fill and drain valves are coming closed. That means first stage is fully loaded, second stage fully loaded, and that 10 million pounds of propellant on board the Starship launch vehicle.
I want to take a quick moment to say that the crowd energy here is electric. I feel like it's Falcon Heavy test demo all over again.
And hopefully you'll hear us as we get into the flight camp. But right now, next activity is coming up. The flight termination system arms at T-minus 2 minutes. Thrust vector control checkouts at T-minus 2 minutes. And then after that, major activity will be the T-minus 40-second gate. Here's a view looking up at the 33 Raptor engines. There are 20 engines in a circle on the outside. And as Shiva said earlier, 13 engines.
They are transferring liquid oxygen, and so and it is in a warmer structure, so it has to be kept cool so that it will not boil off.
Right.
To So there is a short hold
These
at the moment, which is announced.
means at the base of the super heavy booster. I think we can see those wiggles now.
We're currently inside 90 seconds. Next major activity, T-minus 40 seconds. That is a gate, a decision point. We're waiting, possibility the propulsion team may need a few minutes.
Yeah, so there's a hold on the sequence, so that when they stop,
Ionization
the
system is
countdown.
armed for flight. We're getting ready for T-minus 1 minute counting.
Yeah, ours could go like a minute plus.
Oh,
Okay, so
there is a whole.
this was compared to the initially given time.
Next, we'll see as we get past T-minus 40 seconds for final checks of the vehicle.
Okay, let's see, all the indicators.
They are going this time.
We're currently watching this live as well as the NASA live, and the NASA live has indicated that there's a brief hold. So it looks like we're still waiting on information.
Okay, you can see the clock is recycled. Flight director has called a hold. We are recycling. For the moment, we'll see where they move the clock back to. They could hold at T-minus 40 seconds. They could go to an earlier point. Give us a minute to listen into the nets, and we'll see if we can get you more information to share.
So that's very important to cross the different information, as we have access to one channel where they seem to be ahead of what is being transmitted now, and there is a hold which is announced.
Okay.
So that is 14:30 UTC. So we still have about an hour for them to figure it out. And it is important to note that at this point, it is a hold, not an abort.
Yeah.
So they have not,
They still have a 1 hour.
So there is a hold of 1 hour, which is announced. Yeah.
They say they still have a 1 hour available, not that the hold will last the wall.
Okay, so then
I
it's a
think
good
I
time
understood
now to
so.
speculate, and let's get the floor to see what is okay. How significant is it for us?
apparently that up to this point, they said they can hold for up to 15 minutes at this particular point, right?
They hold up to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They said
Okay.
themselves, so we have about 15 minutes.
How frequently does this happen in launches? Because I feel like we just watched the Juice launch that was delayed a whole day. And then now this is delayed 15 minutes. It makes me a little
It
suspicious.
happens all the time, but
I
in the
figured.
case of Juice, it was a very specific reason. It was a weather, which could induce a big electric lightning that would affect the ascent of the rocket. So weather. So in general, you have a number of indicators where you go through. You know, is a mechanical system, is a propulsion green, is a all aspect communication. And so in general, they go through all these indicators. Here, we don't have this all information at once, but if one is not green, then there is a hold.
Yeah, it seems as if they hold a hold for final launch checkouts, that perhaps in one of the checkouts they discovered.
Again, here at the Hawthorne webcast desk, we're holding a T-minus 40 seconds. What we've heard so far is we have a couple of issues we're working. One is the booster tank pressurization. Final pressurization was just a little bit long. That's not unusual. We've held at T-minus 40 seconds before to pressurize. That appears to have been resolved. At the same time on the second stage, they're working some final purging. We should know very shortly if that is cleared and if they'll continue the countdown.
Sounds good, yeah.
Especially that person is excited to keep going. Like John said, we should know shortly if we are able to continue. But as we mentioned before, we are able to hold up to 15 minutes and still be able to lift off today.
Yeah, on Falcon 9, it's a little bit different. Once we start propellant loading, we pretty much have to go at the targeted time. Otherwise, the propellants can warm up and we may not have the performance for that particular mission profile. It's a little bit different on Starship.
If I can interrupt.
Yeah.
It looks like they're clearing all the flags and we're going to release at T-minus 40 seconds.
That is amazing news.
Amazing.
Team working quickly through their issues on first and second stages.
Things that could come up.
I'm sure all of the rehearsals and simulations that they've been doing have prepared them to evaluate this data quickly to try to get us in for today's launch attempts.
They especially don't know what happened.
For those of you just joining, we have a brief hold at the T-minus 40 second mark. The team is resolving one issue with the clean purge on the stage 2 Raptors. Like John just said, the teams are quickly working that, and it looks like the flags are being.
Yeah, it's launched. So actually, yeah. So we were, yeah, it's going up. We're live.
Starship that once we resume the countdown, it restarts from the 40-second period, and then.
So watch out. We are.
So
yeah, now it has gone. It has gone. Always have 2 sources of information. We can see in real time the launch. Now,
These here coming to us from Starbase, Texas.
so the channel that was put on is a bit is not exactly live. It's about 1 minute delay compared to real time.
Oh.
Then you have we'll see a replay, which will be great because we were caught by surprise. But now we see in a real time images we got from another source. It's in the air.
Countdown. It's 9, 11, 10 seconds.
No, it has launched already. Don't believe what you see on TV. It has launched already. The TV channel, it was delayed 1 minute. And now you can see the replay of the image.
Okay. It seems to be going.
Yes, it is going. It is going now.
Wow.
Wow.
Just watch it with a bit
Hey,
of
see that
relax.
Yes.
Speed and altitude.
Amazing.
So the time was indicated here. It was the time of the TV. Wow. Amazing.
Historical moment.
So let's. Well, we were watching the launch. Oh, look at that!
Amazing.
Look at the booster.
Perfecto. Perfect. The launch, right? Everything works fine.
Okay, so you have the okay the
Look, they've
speed.
lost key engines. You can see.
Okay, oh, you can see all this
See, there's
this boost, the Raptor. I see. Okay, excellent.
Wait, what is it doing? It's hard to tell if it's on the
Yeah,
correct trajectory.
Yeah, detached. Yes. So there are also way to monitor the trajectory.
It is continuing on the flight.
Yeah.
It definitely appears that engines
Seconds into flight.
Five
Wow.
Raptors are engine out. See how this affects because of course there is redundancy. You don't need to have all of them operating. But the attitude doesn't seem correct. We have to see how they maintain the attitude. But
if all goes well, those 6 engines will burn for almost 6.5 minutes. On board here from
speeding at the moment.
And there appears other engines on the second stage as we prepare for stage separation. Now, after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf.
7, and our cameras are showing the spin of booster 7 and ship 24.
Oh, these are the booster. Okay. Okay.
Second to fly, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Let's get ready for main engine cutoff.
Oh, okay. So these are just the booster, but the main engine is just still on its way at 35 kilometers. And okay, this one Yeah, so here they were not intending to recover any booster anyway, so it's a normal, that's it.
Well, I don't think they can see that the booster is left yet.
They are 1 minute delayed.
All right.
Exactly. Again, that explosion that you saw is the flight termination system.
Yeah, so you voluntarily terminate, so not to have damage on ground.
As of right now, we are awaiting stage separation.
So at this point,
Your Starship should separate from the super heavy booster.
Okay.
there is a look though at the team. Space X.
Yeah, Kate, right now, it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation.
Elon Musk is there.
This does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
nervous, I'm sure.
I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
Oh. So, yes. Success, the launch pad didn't explode, and now everything obtained is extra. It's safe. Wow.
So even though we may have lost the vehicle, we have proof there that the ground support equipment can be saved, has been saved, and as a result, will hopefully be quick turnarounds once they figure out what happened with the vehicle.
That's a good job, no?
Yes. Make it this far into the test flight, the first integrated flight of the booster and circuit vehicle.
Live view there of our control center at Starbase, which we refer to as Star Command.
So when will we
As
know?
we said before, obviously we wanted to make it all the way through, but to get this far, honestly, is amazing.
Just joining us, Starship just experienced what we call a rapid unscheduled disassembly or a run during ascent. But now this was the development test. There's the first test flight of Starship, and the goal was to gather the data. And as we said, clear the pad and get ready to go again. So you never know exactly what's going to happen. But as we promised, excitement is guaranteed. And Starship gave us a rather spectacular end, but was truly an incredible test thus far.
Now, as we mentioned at the start of today's program, any and all the data that we collected during the test is going to help us with further development of Starship, and it's going to improve the vehicle's reliability as SpaceX seeks to make life multiplanetary. It's really worth noting that the flight path was designed to be over water and all the air and sea space. Along with that flight path and those surrounding areas cleared in advance of the test. And of course, we're going to be coordinating with local authorities for the recovery operations.
But honestly, what an exciting morning. Oh my gosh. We had a successful liftoff from Starbase, Texas at 8:28 a.m. Central Time. We cleared the tower, which honestly was our only hope. We cleared the tower and all the data that we collected all the way through all those Raptor, those 33, although I think we saw that 3 Raptor engines were out, but we got all that data and we got so far as to hoping to see the Starship, the second stage, separate from the first stage, the super heavy booster. And unfortunately, we didn't make that happen, but that's okay. It was the first integrated launch. And honestly, today was amazing.
Absolutely incredible day. We made it through a number of those initial test objectives with getting booster ascent, getting all the way through the countdown, working submissions at the end. Like really fantastic day.
Got through the gate at T-minus 40 seconds on the second try. Everything released, the hold down, quick disconnect arms, everything moves out of the way. And then we got the vehicle off of the pad, through max Q, all the way up to stage separation, even starting into the prep for stage 7. And then, as we say, a lot of excitement.
Honestly, my face has had a smile on it since liftoff, and now my face hurts. Now, since we don't have any insights on the cause of our rapid unscheduled disassembly at this point, we're going to end our webcast here. Teams will continue to review the data and work toward our next flight test. But before we go, a big congrats to the entire SpaceX team on an exciting first integrated flight test of Starship. And of course, a shout out to our viewers. We appreciate you joining us. And as always, we thank you for your interest in Starship, SpaceX, and your ongoing support. Till next time.
this was like,
Okay, so I think it was very emotional, a great achievement, but also not everything works first time. And so there was an anomaly just before the stage separation. And so the main vehicle has been lost, but still, I mean, we are crying here because it's so emotional, such a technical feat, I mean, a human achievement. And so it's one of the steps towards becoming a multi-planetary species, but it will come step by step. So really, what do you feel, Eva?
Obviously it's unfortunate, but this was just a test flight. And so again, it's not as much a question of if something's a success or a failure, but what we can really learn from this. So I think there's probably a lot of really important data and lessons that are going to come from this for the SpaceX team. I hope that those will be made public so that the space community as a whole can learn from the mistakes of sort of their predecessors in a way. But no, I think it was great. And it was also great to see the level of engagement internationally in this event. I think those were the main wins of this, I think.
So Daniel, what is your take on this?
Well, it was very tense. Didn't know what was going to happen next, but at least it got out of the launch pad safe, and the launch pad is safe. So I think that's a success in its own right, huh?
Very good. And Sean?
Yeah, I think that the fact that the launch pad was completely intact is actually quite a huge step. The rate of turnover that they can do another flight is much shorter, and I think with these kind of things, you gotta, take the positive with the negative. So, even though it wasn't a complete success, I think this is a big step for spaceflight.
Okay, so that's our take from Lunex and your Space Hub Academy, but the floor is yours also to see what is your perspective. Adriano?
You're talking to me? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Or Giulio. No,
yes, Giulio.
Let's hear from Giulio and his guests.
Okay, thanks. I am with Vanessa and Laura with me here, Mexico and Brazil in a mission. We are very happy because I remember now the presentation of Elon Musk during the IEC of Adelaide, and he presented the idea how this would be feasible. And it's very interesting to see 6 years later how this is working.
Oh, yeah.
And these will be a very popular system.
Yes, we were there.
This will be very popular system for Mars and Moon. Yeah.
A little story about Guadalajara, because it was during the International Circle Congress there, and Elon Musk came, and then there were some 10,000 participants more, and some of them arrived the night before and they slept outside the conference room, so that when the door would open, they would run like for a rock star. Luckily, we had some seats in the front with some of the VIPs that we could see, and then after we could talk with Elon Musk. But indeed, he is delivering what he is promising.
Yeah,
yes, amazing.
Definitely, yes. Yes, no, I think this today was a very important milestone on the path to start expanding into space, of course. And yes, I think the fact that the launch pad was not destroyed, it was the first goal, and that's completely achieved. And I am a little bit curious to understand better. Maybe in the next days we will understand more what really happened, because it was just before separating or during the separation. And my first question. And second question, I don't know, maybe you have a better understanding of what happened. And the second thing, I saw that the engines of the first stage, only a few of them were probably working during the last seconds of what we saw. So maybe it was a failure in the there was a shutdown of many engines. Could be this the point? And also we saw that the craft was turning around as if it didn't have enough thrust to go.
Oh no, what we saw spinning were the booster, not the main engine.
Not the main. So they were already separated.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I understood. But okay, we have to look at the fact.
Yes, yes.
It happened
But
fast.
of
Did
course-
you recollect some of the? I think that only a small number of the Raptor engine were not operational. So how many did you use?
5.
Five of them. But you know, but it's not clear that this is the reason why the mission was lost. Anomaly before separation, that's one point. And the rocket can work even if a few Raptor engines are not operational because they have a way to, they have some redundancy. So it could be something more systemic than just the loss of a Raptor engine.
Yeah, but however, the Starship, the second stage, if it was already separated, didn't have the proper thrust to go further, to reach orbit. So maybe,
Actually, they say it has been lost. So we have to see if it's lost in terms of control or if it's lost in terms of not enough having enough thrust to go further. Yeah,
okay.
but it was already at what speed?
I don't know.
It was, I think that I saw until 35 kilometers, at least when, so I saw that they reached at least, they reached space, you know, almost. No, they reached not yet the 100-kilometer limit of space.
It was
but
not 100, it was not
100 kilometers, yeah.
was
They
not
reached the area where we can launch balloons. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Okay. However, no, I think we have to be happy of this test because it was successful for the goals that they had.
Yeah.
The requirements of this test was to prove the launch pad and to prove the capability to go up to the separation point or something like that. Yeah.
And now that we know that the rocket doesn't explode on the launch pad, maybe it's safe to go to see the next launch.
Yes, yes, of course.
We are 5 miles from the rocket.
As one of your boys said, the fact that the launch pad didn't explode will make it earlier. Will
Yes,
make
that was very important to the step.
the second launch earlier, and that's
Because there are many rockets that have difficulty in the early stage. Huh?
it's already.
Yeah.
Yes, another booster and another Starship are already prepared to fly. And I read somewhere that they made this new vehicle as at least 100 functions improved with respect to ascent 20 and the booster 7.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because they continue to work and that. So, okay.
So, Serena, what is your perspective on this? Because you want to build an habitat on the moon. So,
yeah, it was really exciting to follow this launch because I think this rocket is really a game changer compared to the previous ones. And I read that it's gonna take almost 100 people, crew members. So I think that's really opens a huge possibilities for the building new habitats and new colonies in other planets, so, and on the moon also. So I'm really excited. I think this is a giant step actually, even if today we experienced some problems. It's really great and it's an amazing vision, the one they have there. So it's super cool.
Can you tell us how it connects?
Serena, please show us your hands because you're working in these days. So you have a thick skin on your hand because you are a worker. You are building the habitat simulator.
Indeed, yes. So what are the news from the habitat?
I actually had my hand dirty with white painting because we were painting. So that's kind of true. But also, Sean and Daniel were with me last week. We had a great time. I think we are really improving the our moon base. So it's gonna be kind of small compared to this rocket. We work on the minimum habitable volume. but it's gonna be effective. It will host up to 4 crew members. And I think we are improving quite fast and quite well. We plan to have it delivered by next month. And then we are really looking forward to start with the testing, preliminary testing, and then the simulations. So yeah, I think the project is going on well, and we really look forward to starting using it as it's supposed to be.
And soon we will see some pictures at least of that, right?
Yeah, but not now because I don't have them here.
No, I'm not
But
saying
yes,
that.
but not only the pictures. I hope to have people like coming and performing
But,
missions.
you have also some pictures of what you plan to have. You could eventually do that a bit later. In the meantime, I can ask, we have our researcher, analog astronaut, and space researchers from our Eurospace Sub Academy. And so they have this connection now. They went to Bergamo, so discovering not only beautiful city of Bergamo and Italy, but so what have you been doing there, Sean?
So when we got there, our job was to kind of implement stuff we learned from MPOL, like a large portion of our work we were designing. A large portion of our work we were designing a hydroponic system, and we're implementing ways to improve the power systems, like the wiring different parts of the habitat. And a new portion we were designing a scientific rack where a lot of the experimentation could be done, and it was a very space, like it didn't take a lot of space, and this is a huge factor for a habitat of this size. And the progress we did, it was really coming along quite well when we went there, and I'm excited to see what it looks like in the future.
Daniel, you were also there.
I think Sean pretty much hit the nail on the head about our work there and the works for the future.
Excellent.
So I can share my screen now.
Yes, Rona?
Yeah, so I just we have some preliminary renderings from the habitat. Unfortunately, I don't have pictures like now, but it's gonna be, I hope it's kind of realistic, but you can see. So the idea is that we have an inflatable structure with a hatch on the side, which will be used as a main access point from the astronauts. So as I was saying before, it's gonna host up to 4 people. And the main idea behind this habitat is that it's gonna be fully and easily transportable at a low cost. So we basically have a trailer on one side and an integrated inflatable structure that embraces the trailer and makes it more space available for the crew. And then, so the idea is to have a bit of a modular perspective so that in the future, if this project works well, and also based on the, let's say, on the feedback that we will collect from the astronauts using it, we will be able to attach 2 modules from the side so that we can have a simulated analog space base, basically, with more modules that connected one another. And then, yeah, maybe this is not totally updated, but I feel it gives the idea of what we are going to do. So basically, we will have a core module with the lab and the crew quarters and the hygiene facility, and a totally inflatable module on the side, which will provide the crew with some common areas for sports, but also, for example, for leisure time, or I would say generally common activities, and some extra space that will be used as a simulated airlock for performing EVAs coming out of the side hatch. So this is the idea behind our project. And mainly we plan to use it as an outreach module. So we have these 2 uses as an analog base, but given the transportability, we kind of insist on using it as an outreach module to give people like the idea of what analog missions are and why it is important to study space first on Earth with analog missions. Yeah.
Quite interesting. I will come to see you in Bergamo next day.
I hope to see you on Adriano.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Great.
welcome. Yes. Julio, you wanted to...
Hi. I'd like to show our facilities because it's very interesting opportunity, because we are here in the analog station Habitat Marte. And if like 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Here's our living room. It's also our kitchen. Also, we are with Vanessa. Vanessa, say hello.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Vanessa.
Yes, and Laura.
Hi.
Hi.
And let us show you the front. We are in isolation, but let's show in the front of our facility. Also, today is a very sunny day. And this is our front facade. This blue area is our greenhouse. We are operating the aquaponic systems and also the solar panels. The solar panels from the supplying energy for our operations. And this is the airlock. Okay, our airlock. And I'd like to show you more details inside. Just a moment. In this case, are 3 dorms. The first dorm, is for 4 crew members. The dorm 1, yes, a little bit about our living room, and something very important. All of our protocols. Now our protocols and surveys, our research are more than 200. And in this case, you can see in my back here some QR codes. Also, these QR codes are written in Portuguese, English, and also in Spanish. And all our protocols are available in QR codes, and when it's possible, in this case, we have presentations sharing the data about our protocols. But all protocols and surveys are available by QR codes when the surveys can be answered by the participants. This is the second dorm for 2 persons. And there is a bigger dorm. There is a corridor. It is a big dorm for 7 or 8 members. It's a bigger room. Also, we're operating here a survey about microgreens, one of the surveys that we are doing. Only more 2 facilities, 2 areas to show. And there is a library. Oh, there is a library with some 3D printed and also a replica of a Lego from Saturn V. And the last facility is our call it Mars Lab, where we have here some of part of our research with this basalt from a volcano, and also some soil samples here of analog soil. And yeah, and this part of our facilities, and I'm very happy to share our infrastructure here. Yes, and I only not show the greenhouse because I can lost my connection. But thanks so much for this opportunity to share and
we want to come. We want to come. Yes.
Beautiful.
We try to
yes, everybody, welcome to travel to Brazil. And
we plan to visit you possibly in July, August. What is the total area of your facility?
The facilities are the main infrastructure is 160, not counting the solar panels. Also, we have a swimming pool called the infrastructure for underwater extravehicular activity, and the greenhouse are more 200. The greenhouse are more 200 meters.
That's a village, Julia. It's not
you have
a village.
Yes. So we want to organize the Space Renaissance and Human Mars workshop there. So let's think of this. But before that, we will send you some of our analog astronauts as well. And I plan to come over the summer. I'll try to find a way to also at the opportunity of the International Space University Space Summer Studies, which will take place in Brazil. We try to pay you a visit in Natal. Excellent.
Yeah, it will be a wonderful time. Yeah, you are very welcome, Bernard. And I'd like to say that we have to Natal, to travel to Natal, our flights from São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro to Natal, but also there is a direct flight from Lisbon to Natal.
Oh, really?
And this will be the people flying from Europe will be more easy way because we will it's very good flight to travel to Natal directly.
Muito bom.
Muito bom.
So, okay, that's amazing
else?
development. So we have almost a launcher. We are preparing on Earth analog studies to define what the base will look like and all the aspect, research, technology, also human factors, operation. So that's what we are working here. And we want to bring humanity as a whole. So it's open also to artists and designers. In particular, tomorrow, we have a big event in Leuven, celebrating the first Belgian astronaut, European Belgian astronaut, Dirk Frimout. We'll have an event in Leuven between space, art, and science, and we are going to travel there. We have a full expedition, and we'll present some results from our analog campaign, also Space Renaissance, and as well, we will have events with artists and children and astronauts.
And I follow up, Bernard, with what you are saying to invite everybody to join our Eurospace Hub event in Ibiza at the beginning of May, where you will meet and find some of us involved there. So I would like to say, if you cannot come to Ibiza, there is the opportunity to join the event virtually also. So we are going to have 3 days from the 3rd to the 5th of May with the Eurospace Hub project. It's a whole forum where we'll have different panels from more technical and scientific, let's say, topics to art-related and music-related and humanistic perspectives. So yeah, I think it's something worth to mention, and I hope to see the whole SRI community joining, at least virtually or in person. The tickets are available on the website, and that is eurospacehub.com.
Adriano will be there. We talk about its space 18 SDG. So
yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Maybe Serena, you can post the link to the Ibiza registration. Can you do it on the chat?
Yeah, of course. I will send it to you here so you can repost.
Send it to me. I'll put it in the chat here, and I will copy to the chat on YouTube.
Yeah. Just a second.
So these are some of the big news of this week. In the meantime, we had also an event watching the JUICE launch. One also which was an old event, and then we had the opportunity to observe it, to share it from ESTEC, where I had a number of colleagues there, where we watched the successful launch of the JUICE mission to Jupiter and icy moons from the European Space Agency. I have a number of colleagues that were also in the launch site. They didn't see so much because it was in the cloud, but they could hear a lot. And so far, we have got also beautiful first signal. We could see in real time first images, in particular some very nice images of the Earth on the way departing from Earth towards the deep space. And so it seems that JUICE instruments are okay in good shape. And so that's quite a vibrant week. We had also our next wave of Eurospace Hub Academy students that are arriving tomorrow, Friday. Oh, they arrive Friday evening, and we are going to meet them over the weekend. And we have also a good contingent of students from Leiden Observatory that are joining our group. And I want also to advertise that we are going to organize as well a Moon-Mars field geology school. And this will be in the beautiful island of Vulcano, one of the Aeolian islands north of Sicily. And we'll have a school from 29th of June to 7th of July, where actually we have some of the participants here. So Daniel, Sean, and me will be there. And we are also planning some other events in Brussels as well, linked with the Innovation Summit, where I think Serena and will be attending. So yes, so great opportunities from the science technology side, but also from the political and from the public side as well. So Space Renaissance will be present to all of them. Now, before that, end of June, we have also a special event in Padova. That is the European Lunar Symposium, and where we have submitted a number of abstracts to participate to this conference. There will be some science session, but also some on human exploration. And we just received today the program, and I saw that we have Eva has 2 presentations there, 2 posters. Serena has 2 as well. So I will also talk. So we'll be a number of us in Padova, and we have a special plan to bring the Exospace Hub Express Habitat there. And so with some of us attending, so it will be a good opportunity to gather there in Padova, end of June.
Okay, fantastic.
So yes.
Yeah, in 2023, we have a lot of things, of course. In September, we will have a panel at the UN General Assembly, the 18th of September. It will be 1 day, 2 sessions, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And we will officially promote the 18th SDG to UN. It will be hybrid, probably it will be hybrid, so it will be broadcasted on YouTube. And yeah, this is a big commitment. Then we will participate to the IAC, International Astronautical Congress in Baku, Azerbaijan. And in November, we will have 2 workshops. One is in Brazil at NATO on space habitats. And the other one is in Kuwait, organized together with the Space Generation Advisory Council, where we will engage students, participants, to make a statement of work for a Lagrangian orbital city, a rotating infrastructure at the Lagrangian point to be used by tourists, by business, by industry, and all these kind of things. So these and then there are many other events that, but these that we mentioned are the main ones. So keep on following us, keep on registering as members of Space Renaissance. Of course, we need members, because we are a volunteer organization. We don't have the big sponsor. We used to live on the membership fees. That's quite moderated. It's not so big. So please join. Okay, come on. And
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we are also next week because we are traveling to Vienna, because there we are meeting the broad Earth science community at the European Geoscience Union Assembly. And there we have actually 2 sessions that we are organizing. So one is on lunar science and exploration. One directly is organized by us with Serena. Will be sharing a session there on planetary instrumentation. And so we'll have also presentation of some of our activities, but also some of our students from Eurospace Hub Academy will present results in the Mars session and in other sessions. So that's next week from Monday. We are traveling Monday to Vienna, some of us also to link with the science community. And concerning the moon community, there is also some strong initiatives that are being prepared. So by the Moon Village Association, where we have a special partnership. And in particular, there is an International Moon Day, which is organized around the 20th of July, where we invite to have events all over the world. We take part in some of those events in the US and Europe, but it will be nice also to have some events. I understand there is an event also possibly in Italy, in Rome around that time from the International Moon Day, but there are also we should have some in South America, in Brazil, celebrating Moon Day. So a great opportunity as well to reach to the public.
Bene. So I think maybe we can close.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Okay, so let's have a final group picture. Yes, with all of us in the screen.
Yes.
With, let's say we take that. Also with the background of the launching pad that didn't explode. Yes. Yes. So that's
We're going to space.
yes. So Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
Bye bye.